Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP TV 16, the news station. Now, Frank Embry, Marisa Burke, meteorologist Paul Hebner's backyard forecast, and Jay Christopher's sports. This is Newswatch 16 midday.
Good afternoon, everyone. After years of planning and hoping, everything's ready for a groundbreaking at a new multi-purpose baseball stadium on Montage Mountain. And that may not be the only bit of good news for sports fans. Jay Christopher's here with some of the details. Jay?
Thank you very much, Frank. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, as Frank said, this midday, everything is in place for groundbreaking ceremonies for a new stadium in music at Montage Mountain. Now, originally it had been proposed to house a double-A team from New England. But things have changed almost overnight. Things that have happened, Phillies Triple-A ball club from Portland, Oregon, the Beavers, may be making an entry to the stadium at Montage Mountain. Now, Sports Watch 16's John Evans is at the scene right now. And, John, what's the update this midday?
Well, Jay, there really is no update because nothing has been said or done here yet. There are a ton of dignitaries and people here ready for a little news gathering here before the groundbreaking. Nothing has been said yet, no major announcement yet. The groundbreaking will be happening in a couple of minutes. What everybody is talking about, like you said, is the fact that the Phillies AAA Farm Club could be playing here. And Tim Carlson last night talked to Phillies owner and president Bill Giles live via satellite from Portland, Oregon, about that possibility.
All I can say is that the Philadelphia Phillies are very hopeful of putting our AAA franchise in the new Scranton-Wilkes-Barre Stadium. And as I understand it, there's a chance that they can get in the International League, and we've been trying to get in the International League and would love to play our baseball games in the new Scranton-Wilkes-Barre Stadium.
Now, Jay, again, what I was saying before is there are a ton of dignitaries here. They're all waiting for John McGee, the solicitor of the Stadium Authority. He is supposedly going to be here later on this afternoon to have a major announcement, and, of course, carry on the groundbreaking for this new stadium, the multi-million-dollar stadium here at Montage. If anything happens, we will be back during your sports break, and we will have the latest here from Montage. John Evans, Sports Watch 16, live from Montage with the Instacam. Jay?
All right, John, you'll keep us up to date, and we'll most likely talk to you just a little later. Frank?
The potential for a lot of good news. Thank you very much, Jay. In other news today, environmental crews say it could take most of the day to clean up a couple of trucks that are leaking in Scott Township. The two trucks carrying contaminated soil and water were found leaking last night just before 11. And Newswatch 16's Mark Annick has been on the scene all morning. He's in our newsroom right now, just conducting us with the very latest. Mark, what's happening?
Well, Frank, right now those two trucks are still on the scene there at the Scott 60 Truck Plaza in Scott Township. Workers right now are trying to clean the trucks up and get them on their way. Now, the trucks are carrying sludge containing cancer-causing PCBs. They were on their way from New Jersey to New York when they pulled into the truck stop last night. That's when they started leaking. Workers put on plastic clothing to protect themselves, even though they aren't sure there are PCBs in the water that's leaking out of the truck.
We think we have PCBs in there. We are not really sure. I imagine the analysis will tell us more, but there probably is some type of PCB in that water.
Now, in order to nail that down, workers took a couple of water samples from the truck. They sent that off to a DER lab and to their own lab in Newark, New Jersey. Results on that water should be back sometime later today. In the meantime, as you saw in that picture just a moment ago, workers are still on the scene. What they've done is bring in a very large vacuum truck, and they are vacuuming out the water that is left inside the truck. Then what they're going to do is bring in some sort of a seal, sort of like the caulk that you use on your windows in the fall to keep the cold out and the heat inside. They're going to use that caulk to seal off the truck, and then instead of removing that dirt, the dirt with the PCB and the water in it, instead of removing it and putting it in different trucks, they'll seal those trucks off and send them on their way to New York State, up around Niagara Falls as their destination. Now, when we get the results back from the lab, that's when we should have a better idea of whether or not there are actually any PCBs in that water. A company spokesman for Chemical Waste Management in Newark, New Jersey, tells us that PCBs do not dissolve in water. And since the PCBs were, in essence, sticking to the soil, they may not have, as we said, dissolved into the water and then leaked onto the ground. There's a chance that there are no PCBs in that water. As we heard the gentleman from DER say, though, there probably are some PCBs. We'll also have to wait to find out just how many PCBs there are to find out if there really is any danger. Also, the Scott 60 Truck Plaza had been closed off last night. It's open again for business. And as I said, we're waiting for those results to come back. We'll have an update tonight at 6.
I'm Mark Ann at Newswatch 16. Thank you for that information, Mark. And when we come back, government economists see better days ahead. And the debate between coffee and cancer. There's a new report out. Plus new problems in another African nation as a civil war in one country affects the children. We'll explain when we come back.
Stunning presents the highlights of summer. This year's summer has its highlights. Moments that shine above all the rest. Stunning brings out those brilliant highlights in your hair. Golden, natural looking highlights that makes you and your summer unforgettable. Stunning, the highlights of summer.
You love Oreo cookies and cream ice cream. That's that funkiest taste in the world. Smallest ice cream sandwich. You Oreo cookies and cream snack with you. Small, and not there at all. Don't have another. Small, and not there at all. You Oreo cookies and cream snack with you.
Join us for the fireworks display from Rocky Glen Park, Sunday night at 10:30.
If you are a coffee drinker, there's a new report out from the Harvard medical team that says the link between coffee and cancer may not be as strong as originally thought. 5 years ago, a Harvard doctor said a person who drinks a cup or two of coffee a day is twice as likely to get pancreatic cancer as a non-coffee drinker. But now the doctors say the evidence isn't as strong and that it may take as much as 5 or 6 cups a day to put someone in risk. And a year after a violent strike by unionized workers at the Hormel plant in Minnesota, there was a tentative settlement, an offer to bring wages back to the 1984 level before wage cuts went into effect. The union workers have to vote on that pact today and tomorrow. Our Weather Watch forecast is next. You can kind of feel how cool it is, even inside here. It is August, isn't it?
I don't know. I keep checking my watch. I keep checking the calendars. We've got some cold weather, and it looks like the coldest is yet to come overnight time. I'll have all the details in a couple of minutes.
Owning a home so easy, that's why owning home. We've got quality insurance with a manufactured home in the state of Pennsylvania. Wyoming home, we got double wide modular you and me. And even though you're private and you're financing too, you get it all at Wyoming home.
Exeter and Bloomsburg.
Remember your first camp out, roasting those Armour hot dogs over a fire. Your dad swearing at the tin, and you making sure those franks came out somewhere between well done and incinerated. You'd take a bite and wonder, was it that crackling fire or that starry sky that made those dogs taste so good? I guess you could taste how much Armour cared. Well, Armour still cares, and you can still taste it. It really feels like October out there. All we would need is some snow flurries, and we would have something.
Now, Frank, we have a report.
Now, come on now.
We've had a report from up at Elk View Country Club. We'll talk a little bit about it in the Weather Watch. But it is indeed cold. I think probably one thing I'm not having in the forecast I probably should have is the wind chill factor. I tell you, when the wind kicks up, it is tough out there. Let's go right to our Weather Watchers, find out what's going on. As I said, it is kind of a brutal day after all the heat and humidity we've had all summer long. We'll go first to James Bullock in Clarksville, Luzerne County. 58 degrees there in her backyard, and it is indeed cloudy. Then we'll go to Blossburg up in Tioga County, where it's 56 degrees, plenty of clouds. Now here comes Elkview. Now that's Elkview Country Club up there in Wayne County. I had a phone call reporting some snow flurries. I called back to try to confirm it, spoke to the assistant pro. He couldn't say whether it did or didn't, but he said a number of golfers came off the course and said there were snow flurries out there. So, what can I say? It's possible. It feels cold enough here in the backyard. Right now we've got plenty of clouds. Every now and then some sun peeking through. 54 degrees. That's going to struggle. Northwest winds at 15. Barometer is 30 inches even. And it looks like that will go up. How the temperatures are not, I don't know if it's going to go up much more. We're going to have a struggle all afternoon. Moisture, most of it well over south. Few little showers, few little sprinkles. I think most of it is rain. No, we can't talk about that in August. But again, most of the moisture well over south. Here's the cloud cover, and look at the clearing starting to come in now. This is going to continue to move eastward throughout the day. Overnight tonight, skies will clear out. Temperatures are going to drop like a rock.
38 degrees is the record low for Wilkes-Barre Stratton International Airport tomorrow morning. We could come mighty close to that. Some backyards probably getting below 38 degrees. Take a look at this. The reason is that cold front going through. There comes a big area of high pressure. It's a cold high pressure bringing unreasonably cold air down out of Canada, and it's coming right into our backyards, unfortunately. Tonight should be the coldest, and we'll gradually start a warm-up as we head into the weekend. Going up this afternoon, indeed, bundle up. Exeter 64, Sunbury about 65, Ferndale 66 degrees, Draper will be about 61. Now, there could be a scattered shower. There'll be a light one around some areas. Most areas won't see any, and I think we will indeed see some sunshine peeking out throughout the afternoon. It'll gradually get more and more. For this afternoon, then, finally, some sun. 63, that could be a struggle in some backyards, but I think we'll get 5 more degrees or so out of it. Tonight's going to be a cold one. As I said, near record lows. Lows dropping to about 42, something colder nooks and crannies into the 30s. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. We'll keep the sun through the holiday weekend. We'll gradually start to warm up, Frank. I think we'll get into the 70s as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Right now, Labor Day itself will be sunny. Temperatures probably about 77, 78.
Gary, those had to be molten ducks flying over that Gulf there. I just don't even want to talk about snow.
No, in August?
I was Jake Christopher's up next with more of Sports Watch. This time we get some high school football in addition to what's happening in Montage. Super 16 team number 4, the Bulldogs of Tri-Valley. We'll be right back with Sports Watch 16.
Remember homemade orange juice? Remember all those fresh, juicy bits of orange blossom in your glass on your tongue? Introducing new Tropicana home-style orange juice with juicy bits of real orange. Lots of juicy bits, ready-made for the look and taste of old-fashioned homemade. Because today, who has time to choose oranges? New Tropicana home-style orange juice. Every juicy bit tastes like homemade. When it comes to movie rentals, Middleburg Video Sales doesn't clown around. As a matter of fact, we think you'll go ape over our giant movie selection, the low rental rates. And during the month of August, Middleburg Video and GE are offering a factory direct rebate on all GE VCRs and camcorders. Let low rental rates, the area's largest movie display area, and a friendly, courteous staff make Middleburg Video Sales your video store. Middleburg Video Sales, Route 522, Middleburg. Our middle name is Video.
We're getting close to the first weekend of high school football, right?
Won't be long this weekend, Frank. Thank you very much. Hello again, everybody. Last season, the Bulldogs of Tri-Valley High School won it all. The Kingpins of the Eastern Conference Class C Division. As they get ready for a new season, they're the number 14 in this year's preseason poll. Here's the profile. For Tri-Valley coach Mike Carson, 1986 will be even more demanding than 1985, when his Dogs went 13-0 and captured the Eastern Conference Class C Championship. His team will be under the gun to repeat. That's never been done in the division since 1981.
A lot is expected of us, both by me and the rest of the coaching staff and by the kids themselves. We have quite a few returning veterans from last year's team, and we feel like we have some pressure on ourselves, which we're putting there ourselves, but also there's going to be some pressure placed on us by a quality schedule that we play this year.
With a quality schedule, Carson has an arsenal of quality ball carriers. First, there's returning letterman Derek Masser. He carried for nearly 700 yards last season, scored a number of times, and was one of the Dogs' prime pass receivers. And then there's Troy Erdman. Erdman is the speed merchant of the team. He's returning after breaking his collarbone in the 4th game of last year. He also is a backup quarterback. Even though Coach Carson has a good number of returning lettermen on the field, his first concern is for his quarterback, Dan Taylor. Taylor is favoring a bruised right thigh. He was injured during practice, and as of the moment, his full capacity is suspect. But at 100%, Taylor is as explosive as the 4th of July.
He's a scrambling quarterback. A lot of our pass actions are roll-out or sprint-out type passes. We're hoping to get him to sit in the pocket a little bit better this year. That's one of the things that we saw we didn't do as well last year as he could. But he does have good quick feet, and he has pretty decent speed, and you'll probably see him scrambling quite a bit.
Tri-Valley, the Super 16 number 4th rated team. I'm Jay Christopher, Sports Watch 16. All right, at the top of the news block, we were at Montage Mountain, the base of that, where groundbreaking ceremonies for a new baseball stadium was taking place, and John Evans is there with an update on what's been happening. John?
Well, Jay, like I said before, there really is no update here today, except they did have the groundbreaking ceremonies here earlier, and they did say that, in fact, the stadium is under construction now. They will begin construction on this new $13 multi-million-dollar stadium to be ready to play baseball by next year. A lot of people were expecting a major announcement here today by the stadium authority, saying that maybe, in fact, the Philadelphia Phillies AAA farm team, now based in Portland, Oregon, will be moving here next year. That never came today. It was a big surprise. A lot of people said there was going to be a major announcement. There was not. John McGee, the solicitor of the stadium authority, is back there. They went back to put home plate down where it will be when the stadium is indeed built, but there was no major announcement. They are saying that the main guides, the AAA farm club of the Cleveland Indians, would be sold to this group and, in fact, free up an International League AAA team to play in the International League next year. And that's where the Phillies would come in, freeing their Portland franchise out in Maine from this year to play here next year. We don't have any announcement on that yet, and if, in fact, an announcement is coming on that, we don't know when it will be. Hopefully, sometime soon. A lot of Philly fans would like to see that happen, and here's one right here, Jay. That's it from here. John Evans, Sports 116, live with you into the cam at Montage Mountain here, Jay. Nothing really new to report.
All right, thank you very much, John, and we'll have an update on that with Tim Carlson, of course, tonight at 6 o'clock, and we'll go back to Frank.
All right, thank you very much, Jay. I guess there's the potential good news here. Everything we want to hear will be...
Yes, it would seem that the club may be coming here, but then again, a big question mark.
All right, we have a couple of other notes to bring you up to date on. First of all, a federal judge handling the Agent Orange settlement case brought everything to a halt this morning when he ordered the companies involved to stop working on the distribution plan till further notice. Last year, the same judge okayed a settlement between manufacturers of the chemical defoliant and Vietnam veterans and their families. $200 million was supposed to be distributed. The plan was to be announced today, but the judge stopped all the activity so everybody could look over that plan one more time. And the government's main gauge for forecasting the strength of the economy was just released a few moments ago. The index of leading economic indicators is up 1.1% in July, and that means more goods and services were consumed last month, and forecasts are sent for continued growth in the United States. And Newswatch 16 Midday continues in a moment with a story for stamp collectors or anyone who's ever complained about the price of a stamp. We'll explain why this one costs $53,000 when we come back.
Hi, I'm Charlie Golden, and my great-granddad invented Golden's mustard, a delicious blend of light and dark mustard seeds and special seasoning. And for 120 years, all of us Goldens have guarded the recipe. It adds just our right flavor to sandwiches and hot dogs. Fantastic. Or as a seasoning for potato salad. Delicious. Try Golden. It adds just the right flavor, or my name isn't Charlie Golden.
What makes Diet Slice taste so good?
Finally today, if you've ever complained about the price of a stamp, here's a story that'll blow your mind.
48,000, now 49,000, 49,000, 50,000. Sold at 53,000, number 172.
Now, it's about a stamp that sold for $53,000. It's a rare stamp, though. A 1918 one-cent stamp with an upside-down airplane on it. Only 100 were ever printed, and there are only a few of them around today. They're sold to a 24-year-old stamp collector.
Parents originally thought I was crazy for getting into stamp business. They wanted me maybe to be a lawyer or a doctor. And, you know, now they see, okay.
Now, that 1918 stamp is one of the rarest in the world, by the way. It's expected to be worth nearly $100,000 by the turn of the century. And that's all we have time for Newswatch 16 Middays. For the crew and Marisa Burke, who has the day off, have a good afternoon, everyone.